Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. I'd like to direct this message to the main media sources, say ABC, CBS, NBC, and let's say Fox. Well, first I thought that being an agency of information as you are, that a couple of things you would do immediately as far as giving people information, and that is if there was something most exciting happening, you want the people to know about it. And if there was something that was very egregious or something that was very dangerous that was going to occur, you want the people to know about it. So as soon as you knew about it or got some word of it, you would share it with the public. If it's information that you would believe was true, possibly true, then of course you'd do it. If you thought it was just some fake stuff, phony, you couldn't support it to back it up, you wouldn't do it. Or if it was something that was in question, you didn't know whether it could or couldn't, then you would take the leap of sharing the information that it might be beneficial. I'm saying this, ladies and gentlemen, because I want to say some things to you that I've been out here for so long trying to get an information to you. The things are constant, and yet daily situations change, and you start focusing on this, and sometimes you leave the other so long it's almost like you forgot about it. But certain things happen to bring it back to your mindset, and when you do, you have to respond because there's a purpose for this happening. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it said that there's good and there's evil, and there is no in between. You're either evil or you're good. You've heard that there was a heaven and there was a hell, and that there is, like the other, no in between. You are either in heaven or you are in hell. I remember hearing something in the scriptures once stating that a heavenly host had been established, filled with angels, and there was a voice amongst them who decided that they had a better idea than the one that they were experiencing, and so they tried it on the people, and a third of the people, the angels, that's what they call them, bought into it, and rather than leave this corruption in heaven, they kicked it out. Now, where that went, we've heard different stories, but since there's no in between heaven and hell, I'd have to admit this isn't heaven. So if the statement is true, then this is hell. I know the stories that we've received about hell. We don't know what hell really is like because we don't understand it. And so we always imagine that hell is the worst thing you can be caught up in. I don't know. But what I do know, that if this is hell, then it's like a house with rooms. And I could see one of the rooms in this hell, and I could see this as being hell because anywhere there's pain and suffering existing, there got to be hell. It wasn't allowed in heaven. And if this was anything like heaven, it would not be allowed here. And the fact that it does exist means that this isn't heaven. As I said a moment ago, nothing left but hell. And so we, as I see it, are all living in hell. So I would consider the earth, as I have read about it and studied about it, that certain rooms would be considered perhaps better than others. I would see democracy, capitalism. I'd see that as a room in hell. It is a way of conduct. I see socialism as one of the rooms. I see communism as one of the rooms. I see dictators as one of the rooms. Any room, you know, as often as a person is bold enough, articulate enough, and got enough pizzazz to start a new movement that is not going to get rid of the pain and suffering, it's just another room added to this hell that we're in. So it doesn't matter. All of the things that you can mention, I know I only mentioned a few, but they're all hell. And what are we here for? Well, we are here with choice. So choice means that we don't have to be confined to hell forever. we can choose to reject hell. And we don't have to worry about the outcome. That's already planned. When you reject hell, hell will reject you. And so basically what that says to me is that all of us who've been living on this earth, a few of us living in the school of life, making our choices, learning from our experiences, a few of us have graduated. And I would say, I'm not judge, but based upon what I understand, I would say that they were heavenly destined. Why? Because they gave their lives for heavenly things. They gave their lives for peace and prosperity and justice, for fairness for all people. And because of this, they were rejected in this hell. So there's no other place to go but heaven. So what happened to all the other people? All of my folks, all of your people, all of our people, when they are dying, where are they going? Well, I would say to that, they are going where they deserve to go. They are going where they deserve to go. There are many that's dying, and I don't know this, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to know that I'm not telling you that I've received some big gift from God to tell you this as truth. This is what I believe. I believe that if you lived in this life, at the end of this life, if you weren't sent to heaven, you're going to go to a place on this earth in one of these rooms. You're going to be reincarnated in one of these rooms. Depending upon your conduct, you might be reincarnated in a life that seems to be up, or you might be reincarnated in a life that seems to be down. I know some people that say you come back as an animal, as a snake or a cat. I don't know nothing. My belief's not going that far. But as far as coming back, yes, I believe that you come back before I believe that a crooked soul you're going to get into heaven. I just don't believe heaven would receive you. Now that is my belief. If you, if the moment you violated the rules of life and you died and kicked out of heaven or heavenliness, and you go and you violate those rules, and to violate those rules means that you're planting a seed of heavenliness instead of hell. So they kick you out. There ain't no other place for you to go but back up there. So, but if you're not qualified to go there, and you live here and you haven't learned anything, then maybe you have to go through some of the other experiences. Maybe, just maybe, you'll have to find yourself running from your country on an inner tube, trying to get across a canal or a channel or a lake or a river or a sea, trying to go to some other country where they got a wall built up saying you can't get in. Nothing but hell, baby. I don't have to bite my tongue about that. This is hell. All over the earth is hell. And we are here, and I want to give Jesus the story of Jesus. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know where it come from. I don't know if it's true or not. But I do know one thing. There's one heck of a message in it. There is one heck of a message. And that message is this. Wake up, everybody. You are alive because you are alive. But the moment you begin to die is when you start listening to the lies of others. That's when you begin to die. Because the moment you start listening to the lies of others, then that's the moment you are beginning to be used. Because they're not going to tell you the truth. Do you know that most of the things that Donald Trump's people talk about, you know, the conspiracy theories, don't you know that all of that stuff is intertwined to something that's real? But what's real about it, you don't know. And when Trump comes along, he spoke about certain things that grabbed the people. He grabbed them in the kind of way that he is. Donald Trump represents evil. Rich, powerful, evil. And that's what America has always been about. Rich, powerful, evil. And so they rose up. Now, even all of these other people who are saying they are not that evil, but they're not saying that they are good. And if they are deceiving themselves, because there is no in between. If you're good, then this world is on you, brother, sister, whoever you are, aiming to get rid of you. There's no place here for you. I look at a place, I was looking on some social media, and I saw Dubai. Oh man, did you see the buildings? Have you ever looked at the kind of stuff and see how it's as beautiful can be? And yet we don't know if it's true if you haven't been there. It just could be some configuration of the advancement of technology. I've seen stuff on the Venus Project, stuff that people have just technologically projected. So they come out of our imagination. Can it happen? Of course it can happen. Surely it can happen. All of these things can happen. We have the power to do whatever we want to do. But the problem of it is, ladies and gentlemen, we are confined in a situation that won't happen here. I'll just admit it. It won't happen here. The only thing we can do as people is learn and plant our seed. What that means when I say plant our seed? Become who we are boldly, and it will determine where our next existence will be. Maybe it'll be in communism, maybe it'll be in socialism, maybe it'll be on a dictatorship, maybe it's a snake or a dog, or maybe it's in heaven. That choice is yours. And you can forget about trying to make somebody else see things your way, especially if you're doing something close to being right. Now, you've heard it said that wide is the gate that leads people straight to hell. And there are so many in them just following it and following it. And anytime you're following somebody else, that's a wide gate. You know, you might say, well, it ain't that wide. If you got more than one going in, it's wide. Because the straight is only big enough for you. You, the ones that's listening to God, who plant the seed, the straight and narrow way. They're not looking to be 70 years old. They're not looking to be 900 years old. Because one day, they say, in the Lord is as a day in eternity. So what am I saying? I am saying that this day, having made this presentation to you, I will continue standing for peace, prosperity, freedom, and joy of life for every individual on earth. That none would suffer a lack of anything that's necessary for survival, such as food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and to make sure that this is possible and that every man deserves their portion of it, they engage themselves in the process of creating it. You help make it. Now you can access it as you deserve it, need it, want it, or desire it. My friends, no reason to lie, to cheat, to steal, to kill, to hate, to be a racist. All that stuff is from hell, and that's what happens down here. That stuff doesn't happen in heaven, and that's the kind of stuff I want. So I must be in the wrong place. So either you got to straighten up, America, either you got to straighten up, world, and become heavenly, or you got to get rid of me, because I ain't settling for no other way. I ain't begging for y'all to kill me, because I know you got no problem with it. Neither do I. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've not wasted my time. I hope I've made a point. You see ABC, CBS, Nbc, Fox, you will run any kind of story, but you will not run this story. Ladies and gentlemen, listen again. We have some agencies. Many of you already figured this out. You got what you call secret agencies. Well, I'm not even talking about the societies, but I'm talking about the ones that you know about. The police force, all branches of it. Then I'm talking about the FBI, national security. I'm talking about the CIA. All of these organizations, secret society, who observing everything that's taking place right now. I'm out here talking to you right now, and I can possibly, if I had that kind of importance, be watched and monitored right here, even to the bald spot in the back of my head. That's how advanced we are. But not for the benefit of humankind, for the benefit of this world. This is why when Jesus says, on earth, I got all powers, I can do all things. And if things become so complicated, I can call from heaven a host. Now, I don't know if Jesus said this. This is just me saying what I feel Jesus would say. A whole host. But the whole message to all of us who talk about Christianity, who talk about Jesus, was this: it ain't worth it. Why not plant your seed and go to the real thing? Now, somebody else might say, well, ain't that a trick? What is that just a trick? What if that's just something to convince you that you can make this move, but the real purpose is population control, just to get you out of the way because they don't want you here? Well, that's a good enough reason to go, because they don't want you here. Why would you want to be where you're not wanted? So you can't lose. I think I'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen, because at the moment, something else is going to come to my mind, and I don't want to take any more of your time, because you might just give it to me. Until next, this is Eddie. Say goodbye.